An update now on cleanup efforts on that 450,000-gallon sewage spill into a LaBelle drainage ditch that feeds the Caloosahatchee, caused by a water main break. The city of LaBelle says they continue to pump water from the ditch back into the city's wastewater system. They're also introducing clean water into the area to aid with disinfection. Coming up on Wink News at 4, we're going to take you back live. Wink News reporter Bridget Bruchalski will have a closer look at previous spills in the area.
A potential 7.3 earthquake has struck off the coast near Mexico and Guatemala border. This video showing people evacuating buildings in Guatemala and standing in the roads until it's safe. The U.S. Geological Survey says people felt this all the way from Mexico City to El Salvador. Luckily, because it hit away from the populated areas largely, there have been no reports of serious damage or injuries at this point. Because it's a 7.3, this is a strong earthquake. For comparison, the earthquakes in Venezuela last month that killed nearly 5,000 people registered as a 7.2 and then a 7.5 for the aftershock.
Just ahead, the Cape Coral City manager speaks on the hiring freeze for certain positions in the city as we await potential property tax changes. He breaks down how it'll work.
Gas prices inch up headed into the weekend. AAA says the average price for regular gas is now $3.99 a gallon. With diesel, it's back up to about $5. Prices had been falling since the U.S. and Iran signed a peace plan last month, but have climbed since the fighting resumed. Experts say fewer ship operators feel comfortable traveling through the Strait of Hormuz.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio will travel to the Philippines Sunday for international meetings with Southeast Asian countries. The State Department says Rubio will attend gatherings hosted by the Association of Southeast Asian Nations. This year's theme is Navigating Our Future Together. Secretary Rubio will also meet with senior leaders from Indo-Pacific countries during this visit.
Still to come, new details on Florida deputies attacked in an ambush. We'll show you new body cam footage of the frightening incident.
And President Trump shares new claims about election data, what it means just months before the midterm elections.
More breaking news here. Take a look at these pictures of a rollover crash in Fort Myers. This is on MLK right at Ford Street. The good news is nobody got hurt, but there are some road closures right now. So take a look here. Westbound traffic on MLK is being affected right now. Those drivers have to divert south onto Ford to avoid the crash. So make plans to avoid that area if you can for a little while till they clean everything up.
The Weather Authority watching the skies and the feels like temperatures. We've reached the hottest point in the day for Collier County. A heat advisory is in effect until 7 tonight.
The hot temperatures and high humidity, always something to watch out for, but especially right now, apparently.
Yeah, we're kind of like on the fringes here of what was this hot stretch and this flip in our weather pattern. Obviously, we have that developing low pressure system off the coastline, but still have enough humidity and still enough sunlight down in Collier County, which is why they did issue that there. But I think we're just shy of that 108. I don't think we'll quite get there to fully meet that typical, which you see for a heat advisory. But again, that has been issued till 7 o'clock here. But as for temperatures right now, that's where we're kind of seeing the warmer spots, say places like Ave Maria at 94 at this hour. It still feels like temperature is about 104 there. So again, it's still toasty, but you have seen where that rain has been, not seeing quite as high on those feels like temperatures. Is also where we still do have that cloud cover north of Cape Coral up towards Charlotte County. We do have a couple showers, thunderstorms out on wind Doppler 3X. Most of that pushing up towards Buckhead Ridge, right up along 78 there, just north of Moorhaven. Looking at more isolated showers, nothing too much of that lightning for the most part. We even a couple showers there right over RSW at this time. Now we do expect as we move through the next couple hours, you could see a couple isolated showers, thunderstorms as we move into this evening. I'm not expecting a total washout of things, not like we saw earlier this morning, but you can see that swirl just off the coastline, and that's that area of interest that we're continuing to watch here. Now, Hurricane Center did jump this to 10% chance of development over the next 2 days and 30% over the next 7. That number I do expect to continue to rise here as we move through the next couple days. Really, what we've seen so far is an upper level low that formed overnight last night into this morning, and that's what you're seeing, that swirl just off of our coastline there on wind Doppler 3X. Development chances have continued to increase here, and again, I do expect that to continue, but our local impact's not really going to change. It's really going to be more scattered storms for the weekend, but this is our in-house model, and you can see that continues to pull the storm system away from us, but really tries to get going as we get into about midday there Sunday. But again, for us locally, it's just going to be increase of this unsettled weather pattern, and I think the trends of things actually makes things a little bit wetter tomorrow than Sunday, but still both days we're going to be tracking those scattered storms in the forecast for us. So as for this evening, again, a few storms out there tonight, but for the most part, we are expecting still some storm chances around, even in the morning hours, especially along our coastal communities. Therefore, to you as you start your Saturday, and then continue to see those scattered storms throughout the day and breezy at times. Again, as that storm system kind of brews off the coastline, you're looking at tomorrow afternoon gusting upwards about 25, 30 miles an hour up for the coastline. And this is a trend I do expect, especially for our coastal communities the next couple of days. And that's going to bump up those wave heights, especially on Sunday, as we look at a more 3 to 4 foot swells. So if you are thinking about boating this weekend, just make for sure you're aware that it could be a bit choppy, especially with those breezier conditions. Now, as we look ahead towards your 7-day forecast, I am watching as that area of low pressure pulls away from us. We get a little bit of what we call sinking air, some subsidence here over the peninsula. And what that does is drop those rain chances from, they say, 50-60% coverage for us the next couple of days down to a 30% coverage as we get in towards your Tuesday and Wednesday. Now, also looking towards the end of the next week, we do bump up those temperatures back into the mid-90s.
All right, Andrew, thank you.
Stay weather alert with the free Wink Weather app, where you can control Doppler 3X yourself and track all types of weather in real time. And if there's ever a severe weather warning for your area, the Weather Authority will send you an alert through the app.
Just 4 months ahead of the midterm elections, President Trump shared new claims about the U.S. election system's shortfalls. In a speech last night, he pushed for lawmakers to pass tougher elections legislation before the next elections. Wake News reporter Natalie Brand has the latest from the White House.
And so vulnerable.
President Trump used his primetime address to raise claims about election interference.
Hundreds of millions of U.S. voter files are in the hands of foreign governments. Our machines and ballot counting systems are exposed to hacking.
During his speech, the administration released hundreds of pages of documents, some of which the president says showed China accessed voter data.
220 million U.S. voter files. That information includes names, addresses, phone numbers.
This is probably some of the easiest data and the least concerning data that you could possibly have. There's no personally identifiable information in this. This is just the public files.
David Becker, the executive director and founder of the Nonpartisan Center for Election Innovation and Research, argues little new information was released Thursday night and says most of the president's assertions have been vetted and disproven.
In fact, what was released last night largely confirmed that election was secure.
The president says Congress needs to pass his elections overhaul bill in order to assure Americans their votes are secured. But with Democrats opposed, there are not enough Senate lawmakers on board to overcome a filibuster.
It's also very unlikely that the Senate Republicans are going to vote to get rid of the legislative filibuster. So we've had 5 votes on it.
DHS Secretary Mark Wayne Mullen furthered the president's allegations Friday.
We've identified 250,000 non-citizens registered to vote in California and Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Nevada.
If you have any real evidence of this, provide it to us. We want to work to make sure that there's integrity always in our system, as we believe that there is.
Those states, all Democratic-led, say their elections are secure. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Washington.
Meanwhile, a White House teleprompter operator is under investigation for making money because he allegedly read the president's speech ahead of time. The bet-making website Kalshi says the president's longtime teleprompter operator, Gabriel Perez, placed trades based on advanced knowledge of his speech. The company froze $90,000 of his earnings and referred the case to federal regulators. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt spoke about the allegations.
Obviously, I'm aware of the report. The president is too. I spoke with him about it. He believes it's deeply unfortunate and frankly a disgrace. And the individual that was cited in that report is complying with the CFTC but has been put on paid administrative leave.
Sources tell CBS News Perez is in talks with regulators for a possible settlement.
Repair work for a bridge damaged by Hurricane Ian finally goes out to bid. What the timeline means for hundreds of homes cut off from an exit.
And a manhunt ends in a high-speed crash into a ditch. New details we're learning about the person now behind bars.
You guys got me? Test mic 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 live in Cape Coral. Perfect. I didn't have to.
The FDA has approved a new cholesterol medicine from Merck. Merck says the pill, called Lipfendra, targets a liver protein linked to higher cholesterol. A first-of-its-kind oral medication, the FDA says clinical trials showed 50% lowered cholesterol using the new pill.
Popular fast food chain Chili's looking for ways to bring customers back, and it starts with nostalgia. The company says it'll bring back features like the red leather booths and colorful tile tables to remind people of friend dinners and date nights. They plan to update 10% of Chili's restaurants each year until they finish all of them.
I remember the tile tables.
Oh, yeah.
All right, straight ahead, financial uncertainty hits Cape Coral. What the city manager has to say about a hiring freeze linked to a possible property tax cut.
And copper wire thieves caught. What a caller's tip led deputies to find in their truck.
I got you.
Fair, everywhere, covering your neighborhood and across Southwest Florida. This is Wink News at 3.
Thanks for joining us on Wink News at 3. We're keeping an eye on the tropics as a disturbance moves through the Gulf. It's expected to bring plenty of rain and storms this weekend and into next week.
Weather Authority meteorologist Andrew Shipatovsky is here with us. We all want to know where the rain is headed, where the storms are likely to pop up.
Well, we've already seen a pretty active morning for our friends along the coastline. It has quieted down since then, but I think the coast is going to be the hot spot this weekend for us. Let's talk about it in a little bit more detail here. Let's head over to the weather wall. This is what Wink Doppler 3X looks like right now. And you see that little swirl off the coastline? That's actually an upper level low pressure system. That started to form last night. And actually, I do expect as the sun sets tonight, we'll start to see that convection ramp back up here. But for the time being, it's really just dragging this moisture across the peninsula for us and bringing us some thunderstorm activity. You can see a really strong thunderstorm just between Moorhaven and Buckhead Ridge kind of blowing up here over the last 15 minutes. So we'll keep an eye on that for us. We're also watching some showers trying to burst up and down near Pioneer and LaBelle for us. We've even seen that thunderstorm trying to get going here over the Gateway area, right over Artist W. Over the last 15 minutes, you see that heavier downpour. But this is all due to this guy. And again, that's that upper level low pressure system. The Hurricane Center has bumped these chances up here now to a 10% chance over the next 2 days, 30% chance of development over the next 7. But odds are increasing of that tropical development. And really for us, it's just going to be those scattered storms, because I do expect that development to start to move away from the peninsula here as we move in towards the weekend and early next week. I'll be breaking down those trends and give you a detailed look of your weekend forecast. Those details coming up.
All right, new at 3:30, Wink News pushing for answers from Cape Coral as the city takes the first step to prepare for the possibility of a major loss in property tax revenue if voters approve that statewide constitutional amendment in November.
Yesterday, Wink News reporter Damian Alvarado told us that meant a hiring freeze for quality of life positions. Today, Damian's back out in the Cape where he spoke with the city manager. Damian, what sort of impact did he say neighbors would see?
Well, Amanda, the city manager tells me that impact will depend on how many city workers leave by November. But as those vacancies grow, you could potentially see a reduction in staff member for those quality of life positions. And you're probably wondering what quality of life positions are. So let's break that down for you. And when the city says quality of life positions, they're talking about employees who support the services that make Cape Coral enjoyable to live in. Things like parks and recreation programs, community events, code enforcement, city customer service, and other administrative roles. Now, police, fire, emergency management, and infrastructure maintenance are all exempt from the hiring freeze. Cape Coral's city manager says neighbors could begin noticing some of those impacts to some city services even before voters decide on the proposed property tax amendment.
Absolutely are going to see impacts, right? We are not going to have the staff to provide the services. And as staff leaves, as staff vacate a position, that position will be frozen. And so what will happen is as we continue to go through November and additional positions become frozen, the impacts will be magnified.
The city manager tells me that this freeze will stay in place through November as they finalize their budget in October and as voters vote on that tax, the property tax ballots in November. Coming up at 5 p.m., you will hear how neighbors are reacting to this. Reporting live in Cape Coral, Damian Alvarado, Wink News.
People in Rotunda West in Charlotte County come one step closer to getting their bridge back. Work for the bridge damaged in Hurricane Ian goes out to bid. The closed bridge cuts off an exit for hundreds of homes, causing anxiety for people who live there. One couple came to Wink Listens, worried about potential evacuation delays and for emergency vehicles. A dispute with FEMA caused some of the repair delays. Wink News reached out to the county to get an estimate on when they expect construction to start. We'll let you know as soon as we hear back. And if you have an issue or a concern in your neighborhood, we want to hear from you. Our next Wink Listens event returns to the German American Social Club on Southwest Pine Island Road in Cape Coral, Thursday, July 30th. Stop by anytime between 8 in the morning to 12:30, and we hope to see you there.
Accused copper wire thieves caught in Collier County. This new video shows the moment deputies pull them over. The sheriff's office says somebody saw the men were stealing from the Vintage Apartments construction site. A 911 caller helped deputies locate the truck used in the theft. And when they pulled over the truck, deputies found a bed full of copper wire. These spools worth more than $7,500. Both men from Miami now face multiple charges of felony burglary and grand theft.
Check out this rescue of a child trapped inside a house on fire in Volusia County. A neighbor risked his life to save the child with the home still burning. Police body camera video captured the dramatic rescue, and home surveillance video shows the man running toward the house.
Well, I think that's mighty heroic of him that he took that effort, but that's Robbie. He always takes one step forward.
The child, along with a DeLand police officer and a Volusia County deputy, went to the hospital for smoke inhalation and minor burns. All are expected to recover. The state fire marshal is investigating the cause of the fire.
Cape Coral Police, along with Florida Highway Patrol and Lee County Sheriff's Aviation, conducted a high-visibility traffic enforcement operation yesterday, part of this week's Southern Slowdown going on in several states. Officers issued 237 citations during the operation, 145 of them for speeding, 58 for traffic signal violations, and 11 for distracted driving using a cell phone. 6 of the citations were criminal, and the effort led to 1 arrest.
Well, today we're learning new information about a driver who crashed his car into a ditch trying to get away from deputies. The Lee County Sheriff's Office says he has a connection to multiple shootings, including one with an officer. 32-year-old Joe Simmons Jr. allegedly fired a handgun inside of a home on Willowbrook Drive with family members inside. He left, and that led to a pursuit with shots fired. He crashed in a ditch and then barricaded himself in his car on Wilby Lane. Deputies finally arrested him. He now faces 1 count of attempted homicide of an officer and other charges related to the shooting. It took the dive team and officers hours to remove the car and gather evidence on Thursday.
New video shows an ambush attack on deputies in Hillsborough County. A man started shooting when deputies arrived to a home where they received reports of a woman being held hostage by her ex-boyfriend. In the exchange of gunfire here, 2 deputies were hit and had to be airlifted to the hospital.
The car door's not even closed, and he's faced with a barrage of gunfire. Several rounds striking the vehicle, and unfortunately a round shooting and striking him in the facial area. He immediately falls down.
Hey, Motor 3V, I'm hit. I'm in my car, I got hit in the neck.
The sheriff there says the gunman had intent to kill the deputies. The deputies who were shot include Deputy Safarmi Muan, who has been with HCSO for 2 years, and Deputy Colton Daniels, 4 years working for the sheriff's office. They're recovering today and said to be in good spirits. Other deputies opened fire on the shooter, who later died at the hospital. An investigation right now is underway by the Florida Department of Law Enforcement.
A Wink News update on the parasite outbreak affecting hundreds of Americans. This afternoon, Taco Bell has been confirmed as a source for sick cases, but it's not the only source. CBS News correspondent Ashar Qureshi shares how the foodborne illness due to a gastrointestinal parasite spreads across multiple states.
Cases of a foodborne illness tied to fresh produce have been climbing across multiple states. Now, the FDA may be zeroing in on the potential source of the gastrointestinal parasite Cyclospora. CBS News has learned the FDA's traceback investigation has identified a single supplier of iceberg lettuce from Mexico, Taylor Farms, according to a source familiar with the investigation. Taco Bell uses that supplier in 5 states where people have gotten sick with cyclosporiasis. In a statement, Taco Bell said in part that it has taken immediate action to voluntarily remove potentially impacted lettuce from a supplier in select states. Cyclosporiasis is characterized by symptoms that include severe diarrhea, nausea, bloating, and fatigue that can last days, weeks, or more than a month.
The 2 things you can do that can really reduce the threat, the risk to almost zero, would be peeling your fruits and vegetables or cooking them. Rinsing can reduce the risk, but it won't eliminate it.
To give you a sense of how quickly it's spread, in Michigan, where health officials say they usually see around 50 cases annually, there have now been more than 4,000 reported cases in less than a month, and 102 people have been hospitalized.
What kinds of processes are in place after the source has been identified to mitigate for this from happening again?
So it's human waste contaminating water, that water then being used to irrigate the crops or to wash the produce after it's been picked. So what you need to do is you need to eliminate the exposure to human waste.
We reached out to Taylor Farms but have not yet heard back. Now, this is not the first time the produce supplier has dealt with contaminated products. As recently as 2024, yellow onions from a Taylor Farms facility in Colorado that were served at McDonald's were linked to an E. coli outbreak. Ashar Qureshi, CBS News, Chicago.
This afternoon, an update from the CDC says more than 1,600 people in 5 states have been infected with the illness via Taco Bell. They ask people not to eat the shredded iceberg lettuce sold at the restaurant in the states affected, including Michigan and Indiana. Florida is not one of them. Straight ahead, wildfire smoke continues to drift into major U.S. cities. How people have been managing the poor air quality.
And we are keeping an eye on Wink Doppler 3X this weekend, as we could see a little disturbance off of our coastline try to get going. All details on that coming up.
And a live look outside of our studios in the Gateway area right now, and you can see those dark clouds. The skies perhaps with some storms this evening. We're going to check on that as well with the Weather Authority coming up.
Video out of Fredericksburg, Texas shows a river so overflowed that it has led to flooding. Neighbors can only watch and stand by as that water gets closer to their homes, campgrounds, farms, as the rivers overflow. In Central Texas, rescue teams from big rigs and helicopters found people who were trapped inside their homes before they could make it to higher ground. Neighbors say they've never seen flooding like this before.
This is definitely the highest I've ever seen it in 39 years. And my mother, who is 79, has said that it's been at least over 45 years since it's been this high.
In some areas in Crystal City, the flood reached more than 30 feet above the water line.
Meanwhile, further north, wildfire smoke drifting down from Canada is making it unbearable for neighbors to step outside in some places. Air quality alerts have gone into place from Chicago to New Jersey. These images of thick, smoky skies cover the iconic skylines, and as the smoke continues to move through the areas, it's making some people change their outdoor plans and even opt to wear a mask.
Unfortunately, I don't have a mask on right now, so it's doing anything I could to keep, my nose and mouth closed and not breathing in the smoke.
Health experts say the wildfire smoke makes it dangerous to exercise outdoor due to breathing in that dust and the haze. The Canadian wildfire smoke has even made its way to the White House. Here's a look at Washington, D.C., Capitol Hill, and a lot of the monuments there completely covered in the smog.
Yeah, so when you look at this map, usually when we see red like that, it's storms, but that's all of the smoke that they're dealing with.
It's been quite something from the Great Lakes all the way down to the Northeast. I do want to show you what it's going to look like here the next couple of days. So some spots will see improvement across portions of, say, Washington, D.C., New York City, but still we're going to be dealing with a lot more of that wildfire smoke across portions of the Great Lakes all the way through the weekend. So something we'll be following. The other thing we'll be following here locally is obviously the tropics, and this has to do with this upper level low pressure system that formed last night and still meandering along our coastline, and we are seeing chances of tropical development increasing. For us, though, that really just means more scattered storm chances all the way through the weekend. I am expecting, though, this area of low pressure to likely try to get going there into the northern Gulf as we get in towards your Sunday, and if this decided to continue to ramp up, that next name would be Bertha. So we're going to be keeping an eye on that throughout the weekend. Locally, again, the story continues to be scattered storm chances for us, especially near our coastal communities on both Saturday and Sunday. That I do expect rain chances to come down early next week. Speaking of rain chances, we are continuing to keep an eye on wind Doppler 3X for us here this evening. Most of that between Lakeport up towards Buckhead Ridge, right up along 78 there. We've had some thunderstorm activity, and then just off of Caloosahatchee, more over the lake at this hour. Now further into Lee County, we have a thunderstorm trying to get going right over RSW here in the Gateway area, right over the station. We are seeing pouring rains at this time, and we are expecting a few isolated storms as we get in towards the rest of the evening, though most of that activity should back off by about 8 o'clock. But there's that low you can see swirling off the coastline. We've also seen some hot temperatures, especially down in Collier County. That's where we do have that heat advisory till 7 o'clock, though temperatures kind of flirting with that heat advisory criteria. Haven't quite fully gotten there, though hanging out right around those basically upper 80s and low 90s, though the feels like temperatures are still in the triple digits there in Collier County. As for this evening, we are expecting a few storms around. We've already seen some of that. Temperatures in the 80s, though ultimately we'll get down into the mid to upper 70s as we wake up there tomorrow morning, and then highs tomorrow right near normal. We're going to go low 90s for those highs. But again, will be a stormier day, especially for our friends at the coastline. You see already 8 o'clock in the morning, we're really tracking those showers and thunderstorms for us. And this is something to do expect throughout the day, starting from basically south to north. Those storms continue to train across the area throughout the day Saturday, and then very similar expected there for us on Sunday, starting near the coastline and then watching storms move from north to south. So if you are expecting rain coverage out there, a little bit higher there on Saturday compared to Sunday, but both days we'll be tracking some pretty good storms for us, especially for our friends at the beach. So probably not going to be the best beach weekend for us. Now, as that tropical disturbance pulls away from us, we get a little bit drier air starting to work its way in here to Southwest Florida, and I think we'll start to already see that there on Monday, but really see that Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. That's why we back those rain chances off to more isolated in terms of those storm chances, but we will see temperatures bump up into the mid-90s once again.
Don't wait until it's too late. Right now, you can grab a free copy of the 2026 Wink Hurricane Guide. It has everything you need to make a severe weather plan ahead of any storm. You can pick it up across Southwest Florida. Head to our website, winknews.com, for those locations or to browse through our digital version.
If you're looking to strap on your boots and head to the ranch for a nice relaxing day, Rustic Rains Ranch in Charlotte County has just what you need.
They have a number of ways to enjoy the horse ranch. Wink News reporter Bianca Smith shows us.
We got some kids back here. What's going on?
Yeah, we do. So this is what we call our cuddle club. And our cuddle club is when kids and families come over and they get to experience what it's like to groom, pet, and also handle a horse. We have 3 miniature horses behind us now. And with those horses, we have the kids and they're learning to groom them. In a minute, we're going to learn how to handle them. And then we're going to take them out to our obstacle course where they learn to actually they learn skills on how to maneuver the ponies.
Would you tell me, do you feel like you've grown a little bit more confident since your time here?
Yeah, this is Rocky, and when I first came here, I didn't even know how to ride a horse, and I started riding Rocky and a pony named Holly, and I started getting to know Rocky, and I started to know how to control him, and now I can ride by myself.
It's very therapeutic and calming, tranquil, just to be on the trails and see the countryside. We often see wild animals. We've seen wild hogs, we've seen otters, we've seen all kinds of squirrels, we've seen all kinds of deer, all kinds of animals.
Wow, and a nice day out there for the ride when they had that cloud cover, kept things just a little bit more tolerable for the horses and the people.
Seems very soothing.
Yeah, definitely. And hey, Bianca is live every weekday morning with the brand new Wink Stop. She visits cool places and events all over Southwest Florida.
Up next, a little bird makes it back home, how neighbors help to save its life.
We're following breaking news here at 3. A driver crashes into a cyclist on the Cape Coral Bridge. We know that one person is in the hospital, and you can see those emergency responders still there. The eastbound exit ramp of the bridge is still shut down, so let your friends know. Any drivers headed that way should expect delays. We'll continue to keep you updated and, of course, let you know when it reopens. If you see something like this near your home, it may look unusual, but this is actually a birdhouse. Colonies of little birds live in these homes. The Clinic for the Rehabilitation of Wildlife recently returned a purple martin bird to this colony. They named the bird Prince. Crow had to remove a piece of plastic from the bird before returning it. Now Prince is back with the gourd bird nest and the other purple martins in Cape Coral.
Looks happy to be there.
He even had a little purple towel.
There you go. So how often do you really use emojis? Well, make sure you do today because it's World Emoji Day. It's celebrated every year, July 17th, marking a unique connection to Apple's calendar icon and all the other emojis out there. The date was chosen because Apple devices show July 17th on their calendar emoji, a reference to the launch of Apple's iCal application, the calendar application in 2002. The founder of Emojipedia, Jeremy Burge, created the unofficial holiday back in 2014.
Who knew there was an Emojipedia?
I just learned a lot in that. An Emojipedia, is it really a holiday? Or?
Right. I don't know. I use it all the time, so I guess I celebrated by sending someone an emoji at some point today.
Well, now, especially, when you type some words, it just makes them for you. I'm like, okay, well, that one.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
My favorite one is the one that appears right in front of me, and I can just hit
yeah,
send.
the last one that you used.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those are my favorites. The one with the peeking hands, too. I
like that. I like
that. I get myself in trouble. I
right,
have to send
and
that
the one laughing so hard you're crying.
Yeah. All right, Wink News continues in 90 seconds.
Pick for yourself.
Of LaBelle told me that the latest spill was an isolated incident. Yep, mic check 1, 2, 3, 4. The city of LaBelle told me that the latest incident was isolated.
That's pretty close. Do you feel like that's where you were before, basically?
Yeah. Need me to move either way?
Okay. I do the blue one first.
2 major bridge closures begin, and it could mean big changes.
See. Yeah, mic check, Josh. 1, 2, 1, 2. Mic check.
20 seconds.
Cool. I'm going to say to go a little bit more in depth about our local.
Mic check. Test mic.
First, fair, everywhere, covering your neighborhood and across Southwest Florida. This is Wink News at 4.
How many spills have they really had that we don't know about?
I think they should be fined.
Now at 4, neighbors in LaBelle seek accountability after thousands of gallons of sewage spills into the Caloosahatchee. We uncover a troubling history and the questions it raises about oversight.
Plus, 2 major bridge closures begin, and it could mean big changes on the road. We show you the detours and delays drivers could face.
And Florida voters could soon decide the future of property taxes, but one side of the debate is louder than the other. Why experts say that could matter at the ballot box.
We are tracking a disturbance right now in the Gulf. Thank you.